The Anunnaki Reimagined, Celestial Judges and the Fate of Humanity. In the vast and intricate web of ancient mythology, few figures have captured the imagination of scholars, mystics, and speculative theorists as profoundly as the Anunnaki. Traditionally revered as deities in Sumerian cosmology, the Anunnaki have been reinterpreted in modern alternative thought as extraterrestrial visitors, beings of immense power who shaped early human civilization. But beyond the binary of gods and aliens lies a deeper, more symbolic narrative, one that casts the Anunnaki as cosmic arbiters of justice, descending upon a morally fractured world to restore balance and redefine humanity's destiny. This article explores a new perspective on the Anunnaki mythos. It imagines them as three radiant travelers emerging from a starry void, arriving not among the Sumerians who first named them, but among Semitic-speaking peoples unfamiliar with their mythic legacy. In this retelling, the Anunnaki become symbols of divine authority, linguistic transcendence, and moral reckoning. Their presence is not merely historical or speculative, it is archetypal, echoing through time as a reminder of the consequences of power divorced from justice. A starry descent, mythic imagery, and cosmic arrival. The setting for this reimagined narrative is stark and evocative. Picture a barren horizon, no mountains, no trees, only the endless canopy of stars. From this celestial backdrop, three luminous figures descend. Their forms are neither fully human nor entirely divine. They do not speak the local tongue, yet their presence is universally understood. They are the Anunnaki, not as remembered by Sumerian scribes, but as timeless emissaries from the cosmos. This landscape, devoid of natural features, evokes a primordial world untouched by civilization. It is a blank slate, a symbolic canvas awaiting the imprint of order, justice, and meaning. The absence of nature suggests a world in stasis, suspended between chaos and creation. Into this void step the Anunnaki, not as creators of agriculture or architecture, but as bringers of moral clarity. The motif of three travelers is itself rich with symbolic resonance. Across cultures, the number three represents balance, completeness, and divine triads. In Sumerian lore, triads such as Inanna, Enki, and Udu held sway over different aspects of life. In this narrative, the three Anunnaki embody judgment, wisdom, and fate. They are not deities to be worshipped, but forces to be reckoned with, manifestations of cosmic law. Semitic peoples and linguistic dissonance. Unlike the Sumerians, the Semitic peoples, Akkadians, Amorites, Arameans, and later Hebrews, spoke languages unrelated to the tongue of the Anunnaki's original worshippers. This linguistic divide becomes a central theme in the narrative. The Anunnaki arrive among people who do not know their names, do not share their myths, and cannot understand their speech. Yet the message they bring transcends language. This dissonance is not a barrier, it is a metaphor. The Anunnaki are not bound to a single culture or creed. They are universal symbols of cosmic justice, appearing wherever humanity strays too far from its moral compass. Their silence is not ignorance, it is intentional. They do not need words to convey their purpose. Their actions speak louder than any language. In speculative circles, some theorists have proposed that the Anunnaki spoke a language called Anunnaki, allegedly influencing Semitic and non-Semitic tongues such as Phoenician and Aramaic. While this idea remains fringe and unsupported by mainstream linguistics, it adds a layer of mysticism to the narrative. It suggests that the Anunnaki's influence was not merely physical, but linguistic and cultural, an echo that shaped the evolution of human communication. The slave trader's sin, a crisis of morality. In this reimagined myth, the Anunnaki arrive at a time of moral crisis. Among the Semitic tribes, a powerful faction has begun trafficking in human lives. They enslave the weak, commodify children, and build empires on suffering. These traders believe themselves untouchable. Their wealth and influence shield them from consequence. They manipulate laws, exploit traditions, and silence dissent. But the Anunnaki see all. They do not punish with fire or sword. Instead, they enact a more profound justice: erasure. The names of the slave traders vanish from memory. Their wealth turns to dust. Their descendants wander without legacy. In cultures where lineage is sacred, this is the ultimate punishment. To be forgotten is to be unmade. This act of judgment is swift, silent, and absolute. It is not vengeance, it is balance restored. The Anunnaki do not act out of anger, but out of necessity. Their intervention is not personal, it is cosmic. They are not saviors, they are correctors. Their justice is not emotional, it is structural. Divine authority and the fate of humanity. The story of the Anunnaki becomes legend. Not as gods of harvest or war, but as judges of the soul. Their presence lingers in the myths of later cultures. The angels of Abrahamic faiths, the watchers of apocryphal texts, the shining ones of esoteric traditions. They are remembered not for their names, but for their deeds. Not for their origins, but for their impact. Their message is clear. Power must serve justice. Exploitation invites cosmic consequence. Humanity's fate is not written in stone, it is shaped by its choices. This perspective reframes the Anunnaki not as historical figures, but as archetypes. They are not confined to ancient Mesopotamia, they are timeless. They do not belong to any one religion or mythology, they are universal. They are the embodiment of divine authority, the personification of moral reckoning. Their arrival among the Semitic peoples, who did not speak the Sumerian language, underscores their transcendence. They are not limited by culture or geography. They appear wherever they are needed. Their justice is not reactive, it is proactive. They do not wait for permission, they act when the balance is disturbed. Cultural echoes and mythic resonance. The themes of divine justice and cosmic authority echo across cultures and eras. In the Hebrew Bible, angels deliver judgment to cities steeped in sin. In Islamic tradition, messengers of God descend to warn and guide. In Christian eschatology, celestial beings enact the final reckoning. These narratives share a common thread, the idea that divine forces intervene when humanity loses its way. The Anunnaki, in this reimagined narrative, are part of this continuum. They are not separate from these traditions, they are precursors. Their story is not isolated, it is foundational. They represent the primal memory of justice, descending from the stars. This interpretation also aligns with Jungian archetypes. The Anunnaki can be seen as manifestations of the collective unconscious, the cosmic judge, the wise traveler, the silent witness. They are symbols of the human longing for order, meaning, and redemption. Their myth is not just about the past, it is about the present and the future. Speculative thought and alternative histories. Modern speculative theorists have long been fascinated by the Anunnaki. Authors like Zecharia Sitchin and Erich von Däniken have proposed that these beings were ancient astronauts who visited Earth and influenced early civilizations. While mainstream archaeology and history reject these claims, the theories persist, fueled by gaps in the historical record and the allure of cosmic mystery. In this expanded narrative, the Anunnaki are not merely aliens or gods, they are metaphors. Their descent from the stars is not a literal event, it is a symbolic one. They represent the intrusion of higher consciousness into a world of moral ambiguity. Their actions are not technological, they are ethical. This perspective bridges the gap between myth and metaphor, history and allegory. It allows for a multidimensional interpretation that honors the symbolic richness of the Anunnaki, while engaging with contemporary questions about justice, power, and human destiny. The legacy of the three travelers. The motif of three travelers is central to this narrative. Each figure represents a facet of cosmic justice. The first traveler embodies judgment. He sees the truth behind appearances, the hidden sins, the unspoken crimes. His gaze pierces deception. His presence demands accountability. The second traveler embodies wisdom. She understands the complexity of human behavior, the interplay of culture, trauma, and choice. Her silence is not ignorance, it is contemplation. Her actions are measured, deliberate. The third traveler embodies fate. They do not choose, they reveal. They are the mirror in which humanity sees its future. Their arrival marks a turning point, a moment of reckoning. Together, these travelers form a triad of divine authority. They do not speak, but they are heard. They do not command, but they are obeyed. They do not punish, but they are feared. Their legacy is not in temples or texts, it is in memory. They are remembered not for their names, but for their impact. They are the silent judges, the cosmic witnesses, the eternal travelers. A new myth for a new age. In this perspective, the Anunnaki are not relics of ancient superstition or fodder for fringe theories. They are archetypes of moral awakening, reminders that justice is not always loud, but it is always inevitable. They challenge us to examine our own systems of power, our own histories of exploitation, our own myths of progress. Their story is not just about ancient Mesopotamia, it is about every society that has struggled with the tension between power and justice. It is about every culture that has faced the choice to protect the vulnerable or to preserve privilege. It is about the small acts of courage that chip away at entrenched injustice, the stories we tell to justify what we've done, and the new stories we must tell to repair it. The Anunnaki, reimagined, become mirrors and catalysts. They ask not who rules, but how rule is held accountable, and they insist that a more humane future is possible when communities remember the cost of silence and the power of collective repair.